So I recently saw that Bon Iver just announced a new EP called SABLE. From the music that I've heard, seems really exciting. Huge fan, especially because I'm from Wisconsin as well. I have feelings about the album artwork. So the design was done by Eric Timothy Carlson, who has worked a lot with Bon Iver, famously with 22 Million, which honestly one of my all-time favorite album covers, period. And his work with Leon Vinehall, with Rare Forever, has also been really great and interesting too. And just seeing his work out there on Instagram has been really encouraging. He's one of my favorite designers and artists working today. But with Sable, it got me thinking, so the album art is just too simple, too basic. Maybe it's meant to represent a stripped down version of 22 Million, but it's not clear enough to me. And I just had to be thinking about minimalist album artwork that hasn't worked lately. So Etta Vista was one where it's basically like the deluxe or refinished Childish Gambino record. And I think before it was just a white square, and then it became the white square with the text on it, and it's like, okay, whatever. And then there was Donda. So aside from thoughts on Kanye as a person and recent stuff, it is very, it's not new. It's just not. Spinal Tap famously had a black album cover. If you've seen the movie, you'll definitely remember that. Prince also had the black album. Dean Blunt also did an all-black cover for black metal. But with minimalist album artwork that has worked recently, instantly I think of Brat. I didn't like it at first, but the artwork became iconic, memed to death, plays a lot with online culture and like deep fried memes, but also it gives off like a blurry hyperpop vibe. I also think the XX and Jamie XX, especially with his recent album In Waves, they do a great job with having the same, I would say, formula when it comes to their artwork, but playing within those constraints and making it more. Side note, I'm very ashamed to admit, so I love Jamie XX, and I forgot that the XX was originally 4 people, and when you cut off the 3 other sides of the X, that's how you get Jamie XX's album cover design. It shouldn't have taken me this long to figure that out. Then when you think about other minimalist album covers that work great, I would say obviously the Beatles with what we call the White Album. They're the first to do it, to my knowledge, and I think that's where minimalist artwork can work well when you're the first one to do it, usually. Very rooted in the avant-garde, think Yoko Ono and the Fluxus scene also. The artist Rutherford Cheng, he had a art exhibit called We Buy White Albums. He currently, from what I've read, has 3,400 copies in every condition, showing distressed covers and doodles made on them. And the quote that he said, which really stuck out to me about why this artwork works so well, is I'm most interested in the albums as objects and observing how they have aged. So for me, a Beatles album with an all-white cover is perfect. I collect numbered copies of the White Album in any condition. In fact, I often find the Porter condition albums more interesting. The other minimalist album cover that I find really, it works super well would be Sly and the Family Stones, There's a Riot Going On. If you haven't listened to that album, please do. So not only does it use a strong phrase that packs a punch, while also showcasing a modified American flag, but it causes you to ask questions as opposed to just slapping on a less than fully formed idea and calling it a day. And I didn't really know a ton about the artwork until I was doing research for this. I own the record, I've listened to it for years, but Sly Stone has an excellent quote where he says, "I wanted the flag to truly represent people of all colors. I wanted the color black because it is the absence of color. I wanted the color white because it is the combination of all colors. And I wanted the color red because it represents the one thing that all people have in common, blood. I wanted suns instead of stars because stars to me imply searching, like you search for your star. And there are already too many stars in this world, but the sun, that's something that is always there, looking right at you. Betsy Ross did the best she could with what she had. I thought I could do better. Wow. So I think in conclusion, this isn't to just go on a tangent about the Bon Iver artwork, but it just kind of got me thinking more than anything. I kind of came to 3 realizations and just kind of analyzing why this doesn't work for me. Minimalism can work, but there not only needs to be a purpose, but a clear one. I think being the first to do something that could be a clear purpose when it comes to, say, the White Album, but with this, I'm just not feeling it as much. Second point, minimalism in and of itself does not subvert audience expectations. Thought-provoking material does. And third, overall, I would say it's better to take risks than to play it safe, but absolute minimalism lately has just been playing it safe. I want to say that I see the purpose in this, even if I don't like the execution. And maybe there's something that will come up later about the meaning of the album artwork, and this could like completely change my mind. I don't necessarily see that happening. So I guess I'm curious what your thoughts are on this, and just having a discussion in the comments below. Obviously, SABLE isn't released yet, but I'm curious if does this make sense with the artwork? Is it just me? Really open to hearing different pushback and ideas, and just kind of making this the start of a conversation. And again, all love in the world to Eric Timothy Carlson's design work. I think he's a great artist and great designer. It's just personally, I just don't see this one working quite out. Anyways, hope you liked the video, and please like and subscribe so that you can see more videos like this in the future. Thanks.